Good morning, everyone. Welcome to today's class session. So on Saturday, we discussed about course content as well as how we are going to take this training forward. So from today's session, we'll discuss about cloud architecture as well as we'll discuss a overview on enterprise structure, and we'll create a user. So in today's session, so let me open the PPT. So in last session, we discussed till databases. So we have total 3 types of databases in cloud application. It's not only Oracle. So any company, when they're providing a database, it's like 3 different types. One is software as a service. Their tool they are going to sell to the customer as a service. That is a software as a service cloud database. So and IaaS, infrastructure as a service. That means any organization is going to provide a database, and you can so by using the database you can create any tools or you can build anything in the database, but the database will be taken care by so end party like the main parent company. So in Oracle we have Oracle IaaS. So but the market leader is Amazon AWS in infrastructure as a service database, but our cloud application is into complete software as a service database only, and it is 100% standard application which is easy to integrate with other third-party tools also. And SaaS database Oracle provide in 3 different models. One is public cloud, private cloud, and hybrid cloud. Public cloud nothing but so more than one client they are going to maintain a single database environment. Private cloud nothing but for one client they are going to maintain a dedicated cloud database environment. And hybrid cloud nothing but it's kind of a mix of middleware tools and other it's a kind of mix of other party tools also. If you want to maintain one cloud, there is a hybrid cloud database environment. As well as we have on-premise version, but for the latest clients Oracle is not anymore selling the on-premise license for release 13. So this is what we discuss. And platform as a service at the moment, it's an integration part, either REST services as or SOAP services, so as architecture. So we'll be deal as a platform as a service. Oracle platform as a service cloud platform is ICS, integrated cloud services. You can pronounce, or else you can pronounce as REST APIs also. So till here we discussed on the demo session. Then we'll go to cloud application architecture. What is the e-business suite application architecture? In e-business suite, we have front-end application and database. Correct? E-business suite application architecture.
Yes.
Front-end application and database. But in the cloud application, middleware tools are by default integrated with the application. So what are those middleware tools? The middleware tools like ADFDI, Application Development Framework Data Interface, FBDI, File-Based Data Interface, OTBI, Oracle Transactional Business Intelligence, nothing but, so you can pronounce as OBIEE also, so as well as Security Console. All these middleware tools are by default integrated within the cloud application. Then what is the Oracle Cloud Application Architecture? Now we have front-end application, follows to middleware tools, follows to database. Again, we have 2 different databases there. One is Oracle database, Oracle Cloud Standard database. Another one is S-based database. A Oracle database, nothing but it is a SaaS database, and S-based where the entire application will be available, and S-based database, nothing but for OTBA purpose, Oracle is going to maintain a separate database where the data is going to store in the form of cubes. So this is the cloud application architecture. Then follows to enterprise structure. So enterprise structure nothing but you can refer multi-org structure. You can refer in e-business suite a multi-org structure. So what we'll do is, let me open a Excel document. So I will explain by comparing e-business suite with cloud application. I will explain by comparing e-business suite with cloud application. Select OK. Okay. So in e-business suite, what we are going to pronounce this enterprise structure? In e-business suite, what we are going to pronounce?
It's a multi-org
in e-business suite. We are going to pronounce as multi-org structure. Correct. So that means multi-org structure in EBS follows to, in cloud application, what we are going to pronounce?
Enterprise structure.
Enterprise structure. So okay. So what is the multi-org structure in e-business suite? The top level of the multi-org structure is business group, follows to general ledger, follows to legal entity, follows to operating unit, the terminology which we are going to use as operating unit, follows to inventory, follows to sub-inventory, and follows to stock locators, which is a optional. It's not mandatory to implement. Same when compared to cloud application also. In cloud application, first thing we are going to pronounce as enterprise structure. And the top level of the enterprise structure is enterprise. So enterprise nothing but, so where it is a head office. Head office nothing but where we are going to maintain. So entire employee information, trading related information, stock related information, all these things we are going to maintain at enterprise level. Same in e-business suite also. In e-business suite also, at business group level only, we are going to maintain complete employee information as well as what else we are going to maintain. So we use it to maintain, so remaining head office related information. Just give me 1 second. Okay. So then follow, so here we will say enterprise, but in cloud application at enterprise level, so we can maintain employee information, but also we can maintain same employee information at a legal entity level also. At legal entity level also we can maintain in cloud application. Follows to next level is divisions. So once again, couple of our students are pinging us. Okay, so in e-business suite, we don't have any kind of divisions concept, but in cloud application, we have a divisions concept, which is optional. First thing, which is optional. So what is this divisions? So the option which Oracle is provided the division, we can use as a line of businesses, or else we can use as a sales or purchasing divisions for reporting purpose also, anything you can use. So what is line of businesses? So let's take an example, any industry. So, okay, either Tata Industries or Reliance Industries or GE Industries, any industries, they are going to have a subsidiaries. So if that is a GE, so GE is General Electric is the parent company, where the parent company is going to have a GE Aviation, GE Power and Water, GE Oil and Gas. Likewise, they are going to have a subsidiaries. All these subsidiaries are nothing but line of businesses. In cloud application, all those line of businesses we can configure as the divisions, or else. So we can, so if you want to maintain, if your client want to maintain oil and gas, power and water separately, anyhow, in real time. So if that is a very big business, they are going to maintain separately. If the chain of businesses are small, small, that means let's take an example, supermarket. So we have a supermarket business. Within supermarket business, from the, for example, let's take an example, some small business like Ratnadeep in Hyderabad. What is a small one of the supermarket chain? Within that supermarket chain, they are going to have, recently they started as a bakeries. Sometimes they will start bakery as within supermarket, or else they will start as a another subsidiary. That subsidiary has a simple line of business, so they can configure it within one cloud application rather than maintaining a complete separate structure. In that scenario also, divisions we can use as a line of businesses. So that means under one enterprise we can maintain multiple line of businesses, which is the functionality. So earlier e-business suite won't support, but in cloud application it will support. This functionality will support, but so far no clients are using this functionality. because most of the C&IP or any licenses, any industries, they are going to use a separate structure only, even they have separate subsidiaries. But in future, if anyone wants, we can suggest this feature, but which is a optional concept. So follows to next level of enterprise structure is primary ledger. Primary ledger. So why I mentioned primary ledger here? So in e-business suite, by default, we have only one single ledger concept only. So we can maintain a second ledger concept with the help of, another segments, management segment. But without management segment, do you have second ledger concept in cloud e-business suite? By default, do you have two ledger concepts in e-business suite? By default, we don't have two ledger concepts. If we want to maintain a second ledger in e-business suite, so we have to go with a management segment concept, which is a flexible qualifier concept. But in cloud application, by default, two ledgers are available. By default, two ledger concepts are available. That is, primary ledger and secondary ledger concepts are by default available. But as part of enterprise structure, at least we need to configure one ledger. So that is what primary ledger. That's why I mentioned as a primary ledger. Then what is a ledger? What is a ledger? Ledger nothing but, so where we are going to maintain all the transactions in the form of journals. So where we are going to store all the transactions in the form of journals. What is all the transactions? So for example, you receive the material, that is a receiving transaction. So you place a purchase order. So there's a purchase order. Against the purchase order, you paid the money. There's an invoice transaction, or else order management transactions, costing transactions, any transactions for each and every module related to SLA. Related to SLA, nothing but subledger accounting options. Subledger accounting options. Whatever the modules belongs to subledger accounting options, all those subledger accounting options related transactions, so we are going to store in the general ledger in the form of journals. That means, so at ledger, we are going to store all transactions in the form of journals again. So that means if you want to store in the general ledger, we need to post those transactions as the journals to the general ledger. That means the posting process, how we are going to post. First thing, those transactions we are going to capture in the form of accounts. In the form of accounts, we are going to capture all those transactions and we are going to post to the general ledger. That means at ledger level, what we are going to maintain, at ledger level, we are going to maintain chart of accounts and journals. And what else we are going to maintain? Complete entire company related financial information. Let's take an example, taking balance sheets as well as financial year closing statements. And if you are purchasing in a different currencies, if you are selling in a different currencies, entire currency conversions, as well as, so that means multi-currency conversions. So all these things we are going to maintain at ledger level. All these things we are going to maintain at ledger level. That means complete financial information. So if you go to in detail, you can say this revaluations as well as currency conversions. All these things we are going to maintain, translations and everything. But in simple terminology, if you want to understand, so at ledger level, we are going to maintain all the transactions in the form of journals. Then how we are going to post journals in the form of chart of accounts. So that means at ledger level, we are going to maintain chart of accounts and complete financial information, including accounting calendar also. Accounting calendar, nothing but a financial calendar. So let's take an example. So if you are doing business in India, so from which date to which date you are going to pay tax? From April 1st to March 31st, we need to pay tax to the government and we need to file the ITR, correct?
Yeah.
So same in India, we need to file from January 1st to December 31st. All these things, nothing but, so this is nothing but a financial calendar, nothing but accounting calendar. So accounting calendars also we are going to maintain at ledger level. That means complete financial information and chart of accounts and journals we are going to maintain at primary ledger level. So by default, we have two ledger concepts in cloud application, primary and secondary ledger. So but at least we need to configure one ledger. Then follows to what is the next level of enterprise structure? Same in EBS. What is the next level after ledger?
Legal entity.
Legal entity. So legal entity. What is a legal entity? Legal entity in the name itself, a legal authorization company to do business. Where? In specific country. So I have a business. I'm into global business. So I'm doing operations in India, US, and UK. So, but my headquarters is in US. So that means, can I do business in US, India, and UK by registering my company in only US?
No, that's something not possible.
That is not possible. We need to register with organization, government organization in each and every country, correct? So do we need to
True.
register in India or not?
Yes, obviously.
We need to register in India and we need to register in UK like that also. So now I want to start my business in India. That means what we have to do, first we have to decide what type of business is ours. Like, is that a single sole partnership business, or else is it a private limited, or else it is a LLP based, so that means limited liable partnership. What type of organization we are going to start, we need to decide, and against that one we need to request for government, we need to request for registration. So by providing address, and in India we have some different conditions, like a minimum, so two director identification two directors required. So directors nothing but they need some digital signatures, as well as they need a rental agreement or their own space, and we have some prerequisites to register with government. So once we maintain all those prerequisites, we are going to submit application to the government, and government so is going to register our company. Then what government is going to provide to us? What government is going to provide to us once we register the organization with government? They are going to provide a tax identification number, correct? Tax identification number, TIN number. Is government is going to provide tax identification number or not?
Yes.
No, we will say GST number.
Yes.
So against that TIN number or GST number, so based on sales and purchases, we are going to pay the tax to the government. So that means we have to register with government as a legal entity. So where we are going to maintain complete legal information, as well as government is going to provide the tax identification numbers, nothing but so to pay the tax to the government by using that identification number, as well as, so if you want to do your business in India, we need to recruit employees. So to recruit employees, that legal entity should act as a legal employer. If you want to recruit employees to perform business in India, then you need to, that particular legal entity should act as a legal employer, as well as, so from the same legal entity, if you want to pay salaries to the employees, then the legal entity should act as a payroll statutory unit also. And is it mandatory to maintain only one legal entity under one country, or can we maintain multiple legal entities? Can I maintain two legal entities in India for my organization?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
Yes, we
Yeah, you
can
can.
maintain multiple legal entities, but at least one legal entity is mandatory. That means at legal entity level, what we are going to maintain? We are going to maintain legal information, legal company information, and so this legal entity should act as a legal employer if you want to recruit employees, and this legal entity should act as a payroll statutory unit. So when it has to act as a payroll statutory unit, so if you want to pay the salaries from this same legal entity, or else if you have two legal entities and for both legal entities you want to pay the salaries from one, then the second legal entity can act as a payroll statutory unit. That means at legal entity level we are going to maintain legal information and legal employee details. That is the one. Then what is the next level of the enterprise structure? What is the next level?
Operating unit.
Operating unit. Operating unit is the pronunciation which we are going to use in e-business suite. but the same pronunciation we are going to use as a business unit in cloud application. The same pronunciation we are going to use as business unit in cloud application. Then what we are going to do at business unit level? At business unit level, we are going to maintain complete sales and purchases. Sales nothing but from creation of quotation to till receiving the payment. So purchases nothing but from creation of purchase requisition to till pay the payment to the supplier, as well as so complete inventory transactions, every transactions comes under business unit only, where we are going to maintain complete sales and purchases, manufacturing and everything. Again, manufacturing will be done by manufacturing plant, but the plant also belongs to some business unit only. That means at business unit level, we are going to maintain complete sales and purchases, inventory transactions, manufacturing, complete costing and everything we are going to take care at business unit level. In simple terminology, we can say sales and purchases we are going to maintain, but not only sales and purchases, so like manufacturing, so as well as, so I mean, a complete inventory operations and everything we are going to maintain at a business unit level. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Then follows to next level is inventory. So we said sales and purchases maintains at business unit level. So I created a sales order and I booked the sales order. So what is the next step? Just tell me any business. What is the next step?
You know, to ship the process.
We need to pick the material and we need to ship to the customer. So in purchasing, once we place the purchase order, supplier is going to ship the material. We need to receive that material. That means in sales order, we need to ship the material. In purchase order, we are going to receive the material. So sales order and purchase order we create at business unit level. But are you going to receive that material in business unit location? No, right?
No.
In inventory, warehouse. So that means a inventory nothing but where we are going to maintain physical on hand quantity, first thing. So the real physical on hand quantity we are going to maintain at inventory organization level only, as well as so entire material transactions, a real material transactions will occur in inventory only. Even we create sales and purchase order at business unit level, so but the real material transactions, that means the real receivings, real transferring materials from one place to another place or shipped to external customers, everything will happen the real transactions in inventory organization only. Inventory organization only, real material transactions. So inventory nothing but where we are going to maintain physical on hand quantity, as well as where we are going to maintain, where we are going to perform real material transactions. Then sub inventory. So what is a sub inventory? Sub inventory nothing but, so inventory nothing but we say warehouse, but to perform the business accurately, to store the materials in a correct places, as well as to perform operations, to divide your business operations accurately, like this is the receiving location, so this is where you need to store the material, this is where you need to ship the material to the customer. So likewise receiving sub inventory, staging sub inventories, all these things we will pronounce. That means segregating the inventory, dividing the inventory as a parts to perform your business accurately, nothing but that dividing the inventory is sub inventories. And so sub inventory where we are going to so again sub inventories we are going to divide as a stores sub inventories, receiving sub inventories, staging sub inventories. That means dividing inventory into the parts. Follows to stock locators. So stock locators nothing but, so within inventory organization also, if our warehouses are very big and we have thousands or lakhs of items, and if you want to store the goods exact location, as well as for a better practices, better business operation practices, if you want to store the material in correct locations like row rack bin concepts, then we will go with stock locators concepts, which is a optional concept in cloud application also. It's not mandatory to maintain stock locators. If you want, we can maintain. So this is what enterprise structure. So this is a overview. Again, whenever we configure the setups, we are going to discuss again on this specific setup. So any questions on overview on enterprise structure?
Could you repeat about the employee maintenance? You said it could be at the enterprise level or at the legal entity.
Okay, in cloud application, we can maintain employees at enterprise level, as well as at legal entity level. Anywhere is fine, but the highest preference is whatever the setups at legal entity level only.
Oh,
Sharath, I have a quick one question running in my
Yes.
mind. So, what is the most advantage over here when it compared to Oracle AWS on the cloud level? Because when it takes an example of the G, right, where it has it has operated through multiple line of businesses,
Okay.
the same thing can be operated at a legal entity level. Or I can manage.
No. Line of businesses we can opt as a business concept, but the businesses like ZE and Tata we cannot maintain under single cloud application. But a small organizations which are going to have a chain of businesses, for them Oracle will support within one enterprise structure only. But kind of GE oil and gas, because they are going to maintain each and everything as a separate business, right? Again, power and water, they're going to treat everything as completely different. Correct? Only they are going to show at the time of a share market only. Stock market they are going to show as a parent company. In that scenario, so only they will say top level enterprise is General Electric, but remaining they are going to maintain as separate, complete separate enterprise structures. For their businesses, Oracle Cloud won't support divisions concept, but so small chain of businesses like the business turnover, the business turnover is $2 billion only, and they have 5 different businesses within one enterprise structure. For them, it will support as a divisions concept. Okay.
Okay, got you now.
And when compared to total advantages, we have a lot of advantages in a cloud application. Like middleware tools, the functionalities become we have best functionalities, and the data. I mean, we don't need to. I mean, cost effective also, because they don't need to maintain big support teams, as well as they don't need to take care of entire security of the databases. Everything will be taken care by Oracle. So including applying patches and everything. And so they will save a lot of time, as well as they will save a lot of money also, rather than spending to the IT support teams. As well as we have a lot of new functionalities by integrating the best functionalities in other ERP tools. Now we have the cloud application from this scratch, and by release 13 from 18 year, most of the supply chain management and manufacturing so became stable, and we have very good functionalities.
Sir, that what is the role for IT support team here? Everything is maintained by Oracle.
No. IT security manager we are going to take care. I mean, that's the next discussion.
Okay.
This is the next discussion. Okay.
Sharath, can we maintain 2 business groups?
No, we can maintain only one enterprise. We can
Only
maintain
one
only
enterprise.
one enterprise in cloud application.
Okay.
Sharath, is there a concept of department in this new structure?
Departments is different. Just we can configure the departments. That is just within internal parts. So
Okay.
sales departments, purchasing departments, like this you can configure. So that is a different concept. Okay.
Okay.
So that is within internal setups only.
Mm-hmm.
So in human capital management, we can configure that one.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions?
You will be sharing this Excel with us, Sharath?
Yes, I am going to share the two things. So we are very clear from the beginning. We are going to share maximum 30% videos. That means whatever the missing videos, as well as some mandatory videos we are going to share. But we are going to share most of the documentation part, like all the Excel documents which we are going to prepare, as well as we are going to prepare a set of documents also. Let's take an example. So how it will be like. So OEM setups. So we are going to write setups like this manually. It's like once we explain this session, we are going to mention the setups, and I'm going to share all the setup documents. So here also we have some different setup documents. So we are going to share all those setup documents also. Okay. And we are going to share Excel document also.
Okay. Yeah.
So, and I'm going to share in our September folder. This is 08 September. Enterprise structure 08 September 2018. Okay then. So okay, let me go to application. this is the cloud application which we are going to use for classroom purpose. And once the people confirm their presence and once they made the payment, so anyhow, so everyone has the so you can join without any payment till Friday. But if you like this session and if you want to a instance access also, then you need to pay. Then only we are going to share instance access, and this is the instance which we are going to share for class students. Okay, and this is the instance which we are going to use for classroom training purpose. So log into the application. So first thing, I'm just going to log into the application with some user. So some user which is having a admin privileges. Okay, one second, the password is wrong. So for you also, I'm going to provide the URL and I'm going to share the admin username and password for demo environments, from where you can create users and you can create a number of users. So we are giving all that facility to our students. There is no restriction. And this is how application looks like. The first thing is a search button. It's a global search button in the application. You can search any data. And the second one is a home button. So let's click on home button. So this is how a home dashboard looks like. This is how a dashboard looks like. This is the username and user details associated. So, and here you can see all the icons like sales related apps, service related apps, business plans related apps. Likewise, here you can see, so that means our personal information. We can update our personal information. So onboarding related details. So we can mention, we can maintain our curriculum details and everything. So then, or these are the related to procurement and other things based on the roles. So then here you can see notifications. So notifications. So nothing but whatever notifications we are going to receive, we can see from notifications icon. Then here you can see username. After username, you can see setup. If you click on this drop down button, you can see setting and actions. From here, if you see administration setup and maintenance, from here we are going to configure setups for all the offerings. So we have total 25 offerings in the application. First thing, we have total 25 offerings in the application. Within each and every offering, we have a lot of modules is there. And here you can see try bar icon. This is what we will say navigator. From here we are going to perform a lot of transactions also. So before discussing creating any user, so first go to about this application. If you click on about this application, you can see the application version. So what is the application version? You can see here. It's a release 13. See, release 13. Database update 18.05. Database update 18.05. That means it is 18B, and we are going to get 18C also very soon. So already Oracle released the documentation for 18C, but the application they didn't release yet. But 18C features are available in this environment. But official 18C version, so Oracle is going to release maybe in October middle, like that. Once we got RS October ending. So once we got the 18C, we are going to teach our sessions in 18C only. Okay, this is the latest version of cloud application where we are going to provide trainings to our students. So even you can verify. So in Oracle also, just for your confirmation. RS even we used to pronounce like 11.13. Like that, but now directly we are pronouncing release 13 only. Okay. So here about this application, you can see the latest version. What is the version of the application? Okay. Then first question, how we are going to provide security to the application in e-business suite. In e-business suite, how we are going to provide security to the application. So any idea?
You mean are you seeking for a user provision?
Yeah, how we are going to restrict one user to access for specific data or specific forms only. How we are going to restrict any business suite?
Menu exclusion.
Menu exclusions. That means, so we have a concept of EBS. So responsibilities, menus, functions, and sub-functions. So with the help of responsibilities, we are going to restrict specific user to access specific area only. Let's take an example. I have a user 1. For user 1, I want to give only order entry access. Then what we are going to do? We are going to create a responsibility, a order entry responsibility. And in that responsibility, we are going to add specific menus only. The menu which is going to have a access for only specific forms related to the order entry. Again, that menus, how the menus will work based on the functions, how the functions will work based on the sub functions. That means we are going to create a menu with functions having only order entry functions, and we are going to assign that menu to the order entry responsibility, and we are going to assign order entry responsibility to the user. Let's take user 1. Then the particular user, once log into the application with his user details, he can access only one responsibility, and that responsibility he can create only sales order. Again, that responsibility we are going to restrict with the business group, MO operating unit profile option, for example. That means we are going to restrict that responsibility for specific operating unit only. Correct? Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
So likewise, we can create hundreds of responsibilities. So based on our requirement, like order management, super user responsibility, OEM transactions, shipping transactions responsibilities, or else OEM order entry responsibilities. Let's take an example. Just tell me like that some 5 in inventory in your experience. For inventory, just give me some 5 responsibilities in your experience.
Inventory super user.
Inventory super user responsibility.
Inventory user.
I mean inventory transactions, not user, inventory transactions, correct?
Yeah.
So only transactions we can maintain one responsibility. Inventory countings we can maintain one responsibility. Let's take an example. Inventory plannings we can maintain a separate responsibility. Inventory receivings we can maintain one responsibilities. Likewise, can we maintain some 100 responsibilities? Can I maintain for only inventory module? Can I maintain or not?
Yes.
Yes, we can maintain. So based on your requirement, you are going to create responsibilities, and you are going to assign specific responsibility to this specific person. Again, who is going to take care of all these creating users, creating responsibilities, assigning responsibilities to the user? Who is going to take care of this one? Who is going to take care in e-business suite?
Application member.
Sorry?
You mean to say that these responsibility maintenance or what?
Yeah, who is going to take care of all these things?
I think the functional owner, and we created it, and then DBA will.
System administrator, right? We will pronounce as system administrator. Correct? Some teams will maintain a system administrator as a separate persons. Some people, they won't maintain separately. They will hand over this responsibility to DBA only. Correct?
Correct, sir.
So that means from the system administrator, where a system administrator is going to take care of creating users, assigning responsibility to the user, as well as if we want and if we need any new responsibility, creating the new responsibilities. So everything, not only these things, of course, adding the report templates and everything will be taken care by system administrator. But to provide the security, who is going to take care of security in e-business suite? A system administrator will take care of security for the application in e-business suite. How he is going to provide security?
By restricting the access of use.
With the help of responsibilities, menus, functions, and sub-functions. Correct or not?
Yes.
Then in cloud application, what I will do is, securing application, securing ERP application. I will mention ERP application, not I won't mention specific thing. Securing ERP application. Let's take an example. So how we are going to secure application in e-business suite with the help of system administrator. So we are going to secure application. Then in cloud application, how we are going to provide. So anyone heard that? Do you have responsibility concept? First thing, we don't have responsibility concept in cloud application. First point, we don't have responsibility concept in cloud application. Then how we are going to provide security with, so with the help of security console. So the person who is going to handle security console, we will say security manager. So we will say IT security manager. So the person who is going to have a privileges for IT security manager, so he can access for security console. Is security console a middleware tool or not? So yesterday we mentioned, right? So
Yeah,
what
it
is
was.
our course content? What is our middleware course content? Did we mention security console or not?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes. So that means, so with the help of security console, which is a middleware tool, we are going to provide security to the application. We are going to provide security to the application. Then how this security console will work? Security console will work based on the role-based access control. So we have a concept of role-based access control. So with the help of role-based access control, we are going to restrict specific person to access the application. We are going to restrict specific person. Then again, within role-based access control, we have a concepts like job roles, duty roles, data roles, abstract roles, as well as this will work based on the role privileges functionality. Role privileges functionality. So we have a concept of security console. With the help of security console, so within security console, with the help of role based access control, we are going to restrict specific user to access the application. But we are not going to discuss role based access control upfront. We are not going to discuss role based access control upfront. So minimum 1.5 months. So we need some 10 roles which we are going to assign which we are going to assign to our users, and once at least 1 or 2 offerings completes, then we are going to take these sessions, middleware tools sessions, and we are going to discuss about security console. That is a common scenario which we are going to follow, because if you discuss upfront, it is definitely it is a confusing concept. That is the reason we are going to discuss after minimum once we complete 1 or 2 offerings. Okay, till there I'm going to give the list. Till there, I'm going to give the list. So just you need to follow the list of the roles. Just you need to follow the list of the roles. Then first thing, once we receive the application, what we are going to do? We are going to create a user. Correct me if I'm wrong. Are you going to create a user or not?
Yes, we will create.
So what are the user types we have in e-business suite?
Something like external.
HR user and payroll user, remember? So we have a concept like HR user and payroll user in e-business suite, but actually that's not a big functionality. Just for contract employees, we will say payroll, and full-time employees, we will say HR users, like that. But there is no specific, there is no big functionality with that setup. But in cloud application, we have a concept of implementation user and employee user. Types of users in cloud application. So types of users in cloud application. So we have a concept of implementation user and employee user. A implementation user, nothing but, so the person who is going to configure the application, who is going to implement the application, nothing but a IT guy. A IT person is a implementation user who is going to implement the setups. A employee user, nothing but a real business user who is going to perform transactions. Okay, I want to create a purchase requisition. So usually, whether implementation team will create purchase requisition or employee person will create purchase requisition.
Employee team.
Employee. So same, I want to create a sales order. Who will create a sales order?
Employee.
Employees. That means who is going to perform a real business transactions? We will say employee user. As well as for employee users, whatever they need a setups on a regular basis, someone need to configure the setups. Even once you completed the implementation also, going forward, there is a lot of setups required, right? For example, we want to change the payment terms. So someone need to configure the new payment terms. So I want to configure, let's take an example. I want to load some new customers, or I want to change the inventory organization setups. I want to change the procurement setups. So who is going to take care of that one? Employee user or a IT team?
IT team.
IT team nothing but a implementation user. Okay, that means we have two types of users. One is implementation user, who is going to implement the application, who is going to take care of entire application setups. A employee user, employee user nothing but who is going to a real business user, who is going to perform transactions. Okay, one simple question. Can one person act as both implementation user and employee user?
Yes.
One person, yes. Remaining people?
Yes.
Yes. Correct. Okay, yeah, yes, should be, yeah.
Is it can they?
Sorry?
Is it a yes?
Yes, it says only. One person can act as implementation user as well as employee user also. That's a common scenario because some people, because they are a trained person, a warehouse manager is a trained person. He knows the organization inventory setups. Let's take an example. As well as he will perform transactions also. Yes, one person can act as both. But till release 13, 18.02 database update also, we need to configure two different users for one person. But in the latest environment which we received from one week ago, so the latest environment which we received 1 week ago, in this latest, it is also 18b, but it is 18.05 update. Within 18b, it is 0.85 update. That means 18c functionalities are available. So in this latest version, both implementation and employee user we can configure under one user ID. Okay. Earlier we need to configure two different user IDs to log into the application, but now we can configure both implementation and employee users under one user ID only. But initially I will create a different just to avoid confusion for people who is using application for the first time. Okay, so that means first which user we need to configure, implementation or employee user?
Implementation.
This is the first time we receive the application.
Implementation user.
Implementation, because if anyone want to perform business, first we need to define setups. That means if you want to create employee user also, first we need to configure setups till business unit, then only we can create a employee user. Why that is the mandatory, you will come to know once we start implementing. That means first we need to configure implementation user. So again, from where we are going to create, who is going to take care of creating users and assigning roles?
IT security person.
IT security manager. From where he is going to do that one?
From the middleware tool.
Which middleware tool?
Security console.
Security console. So this particular user is having security console access. This is the admin users. So even in real time also, Oracle is going to provide so admin user details, or else Oracle is going to provide, they are going to create one user and they are going to give that user details with admin privileges, and from that user we need to log in and we need to create users. Then how to create users? So for example, once you log into the application, this is the home button. You click on home button. Guys, most of the people, almost some 70% people in the class are very new to the cloud application. So that is the reason each and everything I am explaining in detail by going slow way. Okay. So maybe a couple of people already know the application, but initial 1 or 2 weeks we are going to discuss very slow to ensure that everyone can access the application, can understand how to navigate the application easily. Okay, guys. Once everyone habituate, will increase the pace. Okay, once you are in this application, so someone personalize with some different mode, that's fine. So we can do personalizations, which we are going to discuss. So once you are into the application, so after username, you can see a drop down button. If you click on this drop down button, you can see setup and maintenance. So someone applied a different theme. So the look wise, it will change, that's all. So here, it is a setup offering. So compensation management is one offering. So customer data management, financials is one offering, enterprise contract is one offering, likewise procurement is one offering. So place cursor in any offering, So this offering setups will be divided as a functional areas. So initial users is one functional area. That means initial user nothing but in user related setups will be available under initial users functional area. So here you can see task nothing but setup, where you can see only one task. Here you can see show required task. So click on show all task. So here you can see create implementation user task. So click on this one. It will navigate to security console application. It will navigate to, see on the top you can see users underscore security console. That means anywhere if you click on create implementation users, it will navigate to security console application, or else we have one more navigation to access security console. Where is that? If you click on navigator, someone applied a standard theme, which is a old theme. So someone applied the old theme, that's fine. So here you can see from navigator, are you able to see tools, everyone?
Oh, yes.
So under tools also you have security console. If you click on security console also, it will navigate to the security console. Then what is the difference? So if you navigate the security console from tools, by default you will navigate to roles tab. But if you want to create user, you need to go to users tab, users account tab. But if you navigate security console from setup and maintenance, place cursor in any offering, but initial users functional area is and show all tasks, create implementation user setup is required. So but initially for a better navigation purpose, for any batch we are going to navigate from procurement offering only, so people can understand easily. So navigate to procurement offering, use this drop down button to switch between the offerings. So earlier we have an icon to switch between the responsibilities. Likewise, use this drop down button to switch between the offerings. Navigate to procurement offering. So under procurement offering, select initial users functional area, click on show all tasks. So click on create implementation user. It will also navigate to the security console only, but by default it will navigate to user accounts tab. So here if you create any users, you can search the user. Did we created any users so far? No. So here you can see add user account. Click on add user account. So here user category, a default category, contractor or temporary category, you can define categories. At this moment keep as default. So associated information, did we associated with any employee? So we are just creating a implementation user only at this moment. So whatever the star icon, these are mandatory values. Star icon is mandatory. So let's configure a user. This is September batch. So I'm going to create a username SEP_user1. So any setup I'm going to configure, I will start with SEP_September_. Any setup I'm going to configure, I will start with September_. So select tab out. So username will populate from last name. Ideally, it will populate first name plus last name concept. Then how that is going to work? We have a concept of administration. In the administration, we have a user generation rules concept is there. Based on user generation rules, system will generate a username. At this moment, as I said, we'll go with creating the user, assigning the roles only. So security console will deal sometime like October 1st week or 2nd week, like that. Okay. So email is also mandatory, but the instance which I'm going to provide to everyone, please give your Gmail ID. You can see the notification received in your email also. But in this environment, I'm going to give some dummy mail ID. Our vendors, whoever selling the application to us, so is going to, they clearly said that don't give the real mail IDs. So now username is generated as a mail ID. So what is the reason? So go to administrations, select cancel here first. So go to administration, just I'm going to show you. So what is the user generation rule here?
Email.
Email. That's why it is email is generating. I'm going to choose first name dot last name combination. So I'm not going to discuss administration now. Yes, I'm going to make it first name dot last name. Click on users tab. Now let's create a add user account. So last name SCP underscore username. So as we don't have first name, automatically system generate username as a September user one. Now email is not mandatory for implementation user. For employee user, it is mandatory, but now for implementation user, email is not mandatory. What is the reason? We change the administration user generation rules. Okay. So go to password. Let's give some password. Confirm password. So click on, so I created a username by choosing last name, and username populated from last name, first name plus last name combination. First name is blank, that's why last name has populated as a username. If you want, you can modify the username also. So, and I have given password. So here we have to click add roles. Based on the roles, we can access the application. But first, I'm going to save and close without adding any roles. Without adding any roles, I'm going to save and close. So once you create user, from the user account search, we can search. Minimum 3 characters required, but don't place percentile. Don't place percentile to search user. Minimum 3 characters. So I'm going to place 4 characters. September underscore. Click on search button. So this is the user which we created successfully. This is the user login details. This is the user ID. So which we created successfully. So next, log into the application with this username. So log out from July underscore employee user. Log out from July underscore employee user. Select confirm. Log into the application with September underscore user 1. Select sign in. Now we log into the application with September underscore user 1. Did you see anything like setup and maintenance under setting and actions?
No.
As well as go to navigator. So we have only few functionalities, is a default functionalities. Did you see any other details? Because we don't assign any roles. That means this user don't have any privileges so far. Correct?
Yes.
So that so far we created a user. So I'm going to stop this session here. So tomorrow we are going to discuss assign the roles and difference, as well as how to configure specific offerings once we procure the license from Arkil. So because we are not, so no organization will procure all 25 offerings license, but still Arkil is going to provide all 25 offerings. Then how to configure the specific offerings, and we have a concept of implementation project. Till implementation project we'll discuss tomorrow, and from Wednesday onwards we will start configuring enterprise structure basic setups. Okay.
Oh, sir, why can't we search with percentile operator? And
It won't support actually.
okay.
System is not supporting.
Okay.
Some areas with percentile operator, yes, system will support. Some areas it is not supporting.
If you want to search in the with the middle of the name.
No. We have to
Will
search with starting name only.
Okay.
Some specific conditions is there. So, but what will happen is, if you search with the middle name, so whatever the characters eligible, all the names will populate. You won't see specific user.
Okay.
So let's take an example. You say user and search button, then whatever the names with user, all those names will populate.
Okay.
100 users like that, for example. Let's take.
Okay.
So you mean to say that by default, all like percentile, the set string followed by percentile, right? Sure.
The percentile not used, shouldn't be used in searching the users.
But it is taking it. But it is taking right while searching.
No, it won't take in a user search, but in other search areas it will take.
Okay.
And what about the tables with the user creation in which
So
same
user
tables switching
creation
on,
is some FND, some user tables is there.
like same like in R12
Yeah,
line?
I mean, something FND employs some table is there. Just you have to go with the table names. So Arc Cloud, so HCM tables. Just simply go with the so tables. Arc is going to provide you complete table list in the documents. So here you can see this is options management. So just we need to go with a specific one. So to find this specific table. So HCM common. So let's take human resources. So something FND is there, some name is there. Just we need to go with to
The
find
table
it.
names will be different for ERP and cloud, the user creations, or is same?
There is some differences there. So
Okay.
in e-business suite, we are going to create single user only. So from users from system administrator. But if we have here implementation user and employee user concept is there. So implementation user which we are going to configure from security console. Employee user we are going to configure from different navigation.
Okay.
And the way also creating employee user is that different.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So if you're good, I'm going to close the session. See you tomorrow, guys. And before, so just send me one WhatsApp message with your mail ID and with your name. So the communication is, the further communication is going to be easy.
Okay. Will be shared this PPT, yesterday PPT and today PPT,
Yes, I'm
right?
going to share it.
Okay.
So this document we are not going to share on every day. This
Okay.
document we are going to share once in a week or once in 2 weeks. Okay. So once we
Okay.
have some handful of data, then only we will share.
Okay. Okay. Videos will be shared on daily basis, right?
Videos maximum we are going to share 30% only, sir.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So initial enterprise structure videos, I won't count under 30%. So
Okay.
I'm going to share because you don't need to understand the navigations and everything. So,
Okay.
but after that, so we are going to share maximum 30% videos.
Okay.
Any other questions?